All right, we'll get started with Brad Keller. We'll start with Kyle down here on the right.
Brad, yesterday, coming in getting the save, it's kind of been, a long journey for yourself. And I know you kind of talked a little bit about yesterday, just not knowing if you were going to pitch again. So just kind of day after, just how do you feel just knowing the reinvention you've made and just seeing it pay off on a big stage?
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly, like I said yesterday, just truly a blessing to be able to get out there and do that. It's been a long road. I mean, a lot of ups and downs. A lot of uncertainty and things like that, but just super thankful. And even going back to spring training this year, like I told Counsell, is like I just want to be back in the big leagues. I want to, be able to showcase that I can still do it and do things that I've done before and do things that I love to do. So that was kind of my whole mindset in the spring, was just do whatever I need to do to get on the team and go out there and try to make the most of the opportunity.
Elise on the left.
Brad, you are the perfect person to talk to today for a lot of reasons. But number one is you've started a lot during your career. You've relieved right now. So what does Kittredge have to do to prepare for a first inning opener? And more importantly, as a starter with Imanaga, does he need that 30 pitches that pitchers normally get before they come into a game to start a game?
For Kid, I think it's business as usual. I think just go out there and treat it as if he was relieving as well. We kind of already talked about it. We've gone through the opener a couple times this year, so we've kind of talked about it in the bullpen and kind of what Palm's been kind of the main guy doing it, but I've done it once and now Kid's doing it. So I think just go out there, treat it like it's your one inning stint and get those guys out and pass it on to Shota. As far as Shota, I think it's kind of tougher because he's been a starter his whole career and like he's got a good routine. I think they're going to give him plenty of time to make sure he gets all of his whole warm up routine in and feel comfortable going out there. But I think it is very different as a starter going out, but it's worked well for C-Ray's done it a bunch of other guys have done it a bunch this year. It's worked really well for them. So hopefully it's the same story today.
Elise.
Kittredge was talking yesterday about just no ego in the bullpen, and we continue to see that throughout the season. He's like a perfect example of that, where he goes from end of the game to starting today. How much can you just describe how that has benefited you guys this season, and maybe even Counsell's message kind of playing into that always just about the 27 outs?
Yeah, I think that's kind of been our MO all season long. Just really tight-knit group down there. We do a lot of things off the field together. We're constantly talking. We're constantly hanging out. We're doing things. That just makes us really close, and I think that helps us out a ton, especially when games like this or yesterday and today, where it's like kind of just we don't know when our name's going to get called. Just we want to go out there and do our job and pass on to the next guy, and I think it's very important. And I think we got a good group of guys. We got a lot of veterans down there, guys that have been there, done that type of thing. It's still obviously very nerve-wracking and it's exciting and all the anxious build-up and everything, but that's part of it. That's why we play the game. So it's awesome, and we really rely heavily on each other, and we're constantly asking questions to each other, and we're constantly communicating, especially talking about the lineup, talking about the potential pockets that we'll face and things like that. So kind of helps no one really get caught off guard whenever their name does get called. So it's really fun.
Kyle.
Just what have you noticed from Counsell just in how he's able to kind of manage a bullpen throughout an entire season that, kind of stands out to you?
I think communication's been incredible. I think between him and Tommy all years, if guys need a day, they're very adamant on giving you a day. Obviously, our starters have done a tremendous job this year as well. That's allowed us to be able to do that. But I think one thing for Counsell is he's very confident in his calls, and one thing that helps us down there is the phone doesn't ring off the hook 24/7. It's literally one phone call, and he's pretty committed to that one phone call and whoever he calls. So that helps us out a lot. We know for the most part, unless obviously some drastic changes in the game, that guy's going to go in, and we don't have the whole bullpen up moving around. Guys kind of know their roles and their time that they've been going in there and things like that. So that really helps us out a lot and really kind of keeps us focused on the game.
Jordan.
Brad, you guys have so many good individual stories in the bullpen. You have your own story. You have Pomeranz, who hadn't pitched in several years. I mean, you can go kind of through each guy. How much do you think those paths, those unique paths, kind of just inform this sense of urgency and like willingness to do whatever it takes, just because you're not maybe taking things for granted?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. I think we've all had different ways to get here, and I think we're all fighting for one common theme here, and that's to win a World Series. But it's been a really fun year for all of us, and I think it shapes us all. We all have different characters down there, and I think our careers kind of shaped us to who we are now. And it's fun listening to other guys' stories. It's fun to see where they're at, and it's cool that we're all like gelling together. Well, I mean, happened really fast. Like right away when Palm got here, it's like fit right into the bullpen and threw him right in the fire, and I mean it was great. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really fun, and yeah, we're just trying to keep it going.
Bruce?
So great bullpens in the past sometimes have had nicknames. According to Dansby, you guys are the unit, right?
The units.
Is it cool to have a nickname? And what is that bond like between you and the rest of the guys?
No, it's cool. It's kind of been a running joke, but it's kind of stuck. It's either units or dogs. It's kind of been our nicknames throughout the whole clubhouse. But it's fun. I mean, like we said it the other day. It's like even during our celebrations, it's like we always just seem to be next to each other. It's like we're there celebrating, turn around, it's the whole bullpen. It's just like we're a really close group, and it's even when we're walking around the clubhouse, it's always like two bullpen guys are rolling together. Like it's fun. I mean, it's obviously we're close with the whole team, but we're really especially close with each other. And it, like I said, it helps us out when we're down there and just be such a cohesive group. And we really want to do it for the next guy and pass it on. And like I said, just go do our job, put up a zero, and pass it on to the next guy.
Jordan?
He's not here now with you guys, but Ryan Presley, how much did he help set the tone for kind of that willingness to do whatever when you saw how he handled his own situation? And just early on as a veteran, kind of how much did he help some of you guys? Yeah,
I mean, I speak volumes about what Presley did for me and for Palencia and some guys that are fairly new to the bullpen. He helped me. I mean, even yesterday, he sent me a long text right before the game, just kind of, I texted him, was like, how do you go about this? How do you handle like the anxiousness of the game, the nerves and all that? And he sent me a long text, just really freeing in my mind, where just like kind of like I said, he's been there, done that, like closed out World Series, closed out the biggest moments of the games. He was just super helpful throughout the whole year when we had him. I was constantly leaning on him. He sat right next to me in the bullpen, and I was always asking him questions. He was always bringing up postseason memories, and I'd always just be like, dude, how did you even focus during that? How did you even get through that? And he was just his mentality through it all was incredible. And then even his early on season struggles and how he overcame that, things like that. Just I relied heavily on him, and he helped me out tremendously this year.
Elise?
Who came up with the units, or just call you guys dogs? Like, how is this evolving throughout the season?
I think honestly Justin Steele started it. JMO added on, and then I mean we're a bunch of big bodies down there, so that's just kind of how it stuck. And yeah, it's I don't know who exactly coined the phrase, but it's stuck all year long. So.
Any last ones for Brad? All right, Brad, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Hey, good morning.
Okay, we'll get started with Nico Hoerner. We'll start with Kyle down here on the right.
Was it like playing next to Dansby Swanson, just seeing the stuff he can do defensively for you guys?
Yeah, Dansby and I were kind of laughing about that yesterday because, it was such an emphasis and exciting part of the game, but in a way, it's kind of just what he always does, So it's he has a very high standard, and so it's of no surprise to see him, show up in big moments like that. But it's also just kind of who he is, and he's so consistent, but also someone who I think really rises to challenges in big moments. So yeah, those were huge plays for the game yesterday.
And then moving on from that win to today's game, just how quickly do you guys have to move on and just start getting ready for today's pitcher, Dylan today?
Yeah, I mean that's the nice part about playing at home, I think, is just the routines are a little easier to hold on to that you've been successful with all year. And so obviously the stakes are higher, and some of the stuff like doing media in this room are a little different. But overall, when you get back on the field, you can hold on to those routines that got you this place in the first place. And yeah, you want to get right back on the field and keep going. And it's pretty easy to get up for these games, so no issue with that.
Jordan?
Nico, we've talked plenty about the defense overall and just about how kind of foundationally that's kind of the backbone of this team. Just how much do you think when it is a playoff situation where every play, like Nico's play, is kind of put under the spotlight like that, when things are under the magnifying glass, just how much do you think that defense kind of sets you guys up?
Yeah, I mean, you watch some of the other games last night, low scoring, tight games with great pitching, and every base is so valuable and out. So when you're able to limit those bases and take outs away, runs away, it's a huge, huge deal, especially when the games are low scoring and the pitching can be dominant in the playoffs.
Elise?
Your last at bat yesterday, I feel like it was just a good, typical Nico at bat. Where can you take us through just the intentional swing and your thought process to get that sac fly?
I mean, once the runner's moved up, runner on third, less than 2 outs, obviously contact is that much more valuable. So, ideally it's in the air and deep enough to score a runner, and, fortunate to get that done. But yeah, tough, grinded out runs between Dansby getting on and runners moving up, and then soft contact scoring a run. It was a big deal to get an extra run there. So, yeah, that felt great.
A few more for Nico. Stay on the left side.
Yesterday, just when the momentum shifted, you guys took the lead. What was the atmosphere like? How did it feel just being in there and feeling that?
Yeah, I mean, I think fans are on their feet for like any 3-2 count, even with no one on base or anything in the second inning. They were ready to get loud and to celebrate. And even though that was only the middle of the game, it felt like they had just been waiting for any situation to express themselves and get excited, and back-to-back homers to flip a game around is a pretty awesome way to do that. So, yeah, that was incredible.
Kyle?
Nico, for you and Ian, guys who were able to see that previous, core and just kind of the energy around the city for them, just kind of what was it like for you guys to, a guy like Seiya who signed here to help you guys get back to the postseason, Dansby, and for you guys all to kind of come together and have that first playoff win together as a group yesterday?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, it's still somewhat of a newer group, but for those of us that have played for the Cubs and for each other for a while now, we've put a lot of time and effort into having these opportunities, and it's a special thing to have, and we definitely don't take it for granted. Having been close to the playoffs, but not having made it the last 2 years, and then now having a chance to play at home and do it together is a really special feeling, and just looking for every opportunity to seize that and keep going.
Jordan?
Craig has talked about how hard it was to tell you weren't going to Japan, but that positioned you for the season that you had, and he kind of spoke so highly of how many games you played, and just how much pride do you take in the season you were able to compile offensively, defensively, and just even after missing that event?
Yeah, I mean, I think, every year you want to improve and add parts to your game and impact the game. At the end of the day, you want to be available and you want to be out there in a good version of yourself in all aspects. And there's going to be, ups and downs between that. But if you can provide that consistency every year, it's a huge deal. So yeah, I missed 4 games scheduled early in the year between Japan, and then 2 scheduled off days, and ended up playing 156. So, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of being available and a good version of myself out there. And I feel like if I'm able to be healthy and out there for that many games, it's usually going to be production there that helps the team win. And always little differences year after year, but get into more reflection when this is all done. But yeah, thank you.
Jordan?
And then a lot of your teammates, like I remember Boyd specifically, said that you do things to help win on the margins, things that don't show up in a box score. And He talked a lot about that. Just what does it mean that other players on your team can kind of recognize that maybe it's not always the flashiest stuff, but that you're finding little ways to kind of move towards the win?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, I think, in the sport, there's always going to be people's opinions or things you can do better. But at the end of the day, the relationships you have with your teammates and the voices from your peers and kind of the lasting memories you create together are what really stand out as most important and valuable. And those are the opinions I do care about and people I do lean on. So we've got a nice mix of guys that are up and coming, have done things in other places, have been here for a while, and you get some pretty great perspectives all around. And it's cool to talk the game with our group.
Any last ones for Nico? All right, Nico, thanks for coming in. Good luck today.
Thank you, guys.
Morning. Morning. Good.
All right, we'll get started with Craig Counsell. First question for Craig. Bruce, down front on the left.
Craig, when you have the situation of an opener and then a starter who's used to having usually 30 pitches ready, will that be choreographed if you choose to use Imanaga in the second inning?
Yeah, we're going to be prepared for whatever happens next. So, yeah, we'll have all players prepared for what could happen. And, yeah, is it something different for if Shota does it? Is it something different? Yes, it's something different. Yeah. And then that's part of, we understand that. And, it's something, there's risk in other things too. So this is the choice we're making.
How sensitive are you to the fact that most starters need the 30 pitches to be
well,
ready?
that the warm-up is not an issue. The warm-up he'll be prepared. The pitcher is going to be put in the game when he's ready to pitch. Like that's not an issue.
But it's only one warm-up as opposed to normal bullpen people who can warm up and not come in, right?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm not understanding that one.
Let me explain it better. Starters, when they're ready, when they warm up, they come in and pitch. They don't sit down
we'll make sure whoever comes in the game is ready to pitch. I can promise. That part we'll be prepared for.
Okay, thank you.
Maddie on the right, and then we'll go to Megan.
What did you like about the matchup with Kittredge in the top of their order?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just putting one of our guys in to face their really good hitters. Simple as that.
Megan?
In the week or so leading up to the postseason, Shota talked about how much he was looking forward to this postseason environment. Just what is it like for you getting to see that, quite a few guys made their postseason debuts yesterday, of guys getting to enjoy what these moments are about and what it can bring out of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a part for me that is a lot of fun. I just like the look on Saya's face as he kind of crossed home plate and headed back to the dugout yesterday. Like that, I'm going to remember that look for a while, 100%. And because we'd talked just a little bit, and he had talked about how on Monday about how excited he was to be a part of this. So then to do something like that, I think, yeah, you remember that's the stuff that I remember. Just that look on his face is something I'll remember for a long time.
A few more for Craig. Maddie?
Just what is the feeling coming in today knowing that you have the opportunity to move on to the next round?
I don't think it's much different than yesterday. You've got a very good baseball team on the other side. You got to do everything right to win a baseball game, and that's all that you think about. Nothing else really comes into your head, because it's a tall task to win playoff games. And so if you're spending time thinking about other things, it's not advantageous in any way. So the task ahead is really simple to keep your head on.
Elise, third row in the middle.
I don't think after the game yesterday you were asked about Nico, and I just wanted to bring it up. And if you were, just the fact that he added some insurance, just continues to be this guy who, just has a knack for the moment and comes through.
Yeah, I mean, the at bat in the eighth was like quintessential Nico Hoerner. When you replay that swing, like that's. Nobody's going home and teaching that swing to their kids. No offense to Nico, but nobody's going home and teaching that, right? But what you should be teaching is that this player said, I'm going to do my job here no matter what. And that's essentially the mentality that he plays with, is I'm going to do my job here. The job will get done. And that's what you love about Nico, and that's like the mental strength to me in that at bat and all those conditions and a tough pitcher on the mound and things like that. Probably more important than all the mechanics of everything that are going on.
Sadev.
Craig, you obviously bullpen usage changes during the postseason. You're very diligent during the season about bullpen availability. How much does that change, the availability of guys in the bullpen? And you're thinking, does it change by round? Do you need to think about further rounds, or because it's the playoffs, it's just all systems go?
Well, it still matters. Look, I mean, if there's going to be times when pitchers are unavailable. Well, we'll just go through a process that we normally do, and letting them go through their throwing programs, and then giving some feedback, and us getting together and then making a decision. So I think most guys understand the win or go home mentality, and that definitely they're more available because of it. And you take that under consideration 100%. So we're in a good spot today.
Paul, fourth row in the middle.
Yeah, I was just wondering when you told Kittredge, and do you have to announce someone yesterday, or could you have taken that to this morning and then told, or is there some courtesy involved, or any rules about that in the postseason?
It was going to be a post-game decision, kind of no matter what. We talked about it before the game, but it was going to be a post-game decision, kind of based on who pitched and things like that, and how we got through the game. So we talked to Andrew after the game. No.
Jesse.
And then just announcing the starter is it is a courtesy, absolutely. But when we'll tell you. Yeah.
Jesse down here in the front.
Not always, with some other things, but.
Craig, we obviously don't get to watch Dansby every day the way you do. The two plays on the O'Hearn balls yesterday, I imagine that's kind of just what you expect out of him most times?
Yeah, I mean, Dansby has yesterday was a great example of just how you can impact the game kind of in every way, and through different ways. And Dansby takes a lot of pride in that, and knows he can do that, and knows he will do that, and wants to do it. And he made two brilliant plays. He made two huge game-changing plays for sure. That's like their home run plays. It's like hitting home runs, and that's where defense. Sometimes it's hard to see, but you might as well credit them with two RBIs. It's the same thing. And who knows that those innings could even go on further, right? So it's at least two RBIs.
Bruce.
Carlton Fisk, before a playoff game a number of years ago, said that luck is the residue of preparation and hard work. You guys, had guys bunting 3 or 4 days in a row before the season ended. Yesterday, a bunt advanced a runner to a situation where you had the advantage to win. How important, how essential is all that preparation that you guys have done to get here and continue to win?
Well, you just try to prepare your guys. I mean, in the postseason, like bunting does become a larger part of the game, and a lot of games, which the run scoring environment, because of the pitchers who get used in the game, it goes down, and so one run becomes, especially as games go on, becomes more important, and so I think we acknowledge that, and we just try to prepare for it in the best way we could. I mean, if you look at the history of the playoffs, you see my own personal experiences from watching Matt Williams lay down a bunt in the World Series, a guy who had won the MVP, and I'll never forget it. I never forgot that Matt Williams bunted, and it, I don't remember how it impacted the game or anything like that, but it means if that Matt Williams MVP Matt Williams was bunting, that we probably all should be prepared to bunt just in case.
Any last ones for Craig? All right, Craig, thanks. We'll see you post game.
You got it.
Okay, we'll get started with Ian Happ. We'll start with Jay on the left side in the fourth row.
Hi, Ian. As someone who experienced the playoffs, early in his career, and then had some years, where you didn't get back, what was that experience like yesterday to be back in that environment?
Yeah, I think just pretty awesome atmosphere out there. I think the fans were there early for intros. It was really cool running out. Seeing the left field bleachers, just hearing in the first inning how excited and into it they were, kind of from the jump. It's really exciting. We've seen some great playoff atmospheres here, but I think that little bit of a hiatus, the energy is definitely there for sure.
A few more for Ian. Sahadev, right in the middle.
Pitcher hitter numbers don't always tell a full story, but I'm curious, what do you look at when you're facing a guy like Dylan Cease? Do you look at your previous at bats? Do you care about what your numbers are beforehand?
Yeah, I think you definitely look at your previous at bats. Just in general, whenever you're facing anybody, whether you've had success or not. I think I've seen him in a couple of different uniforms now, and definitely early in my career that high heater was something I struggled with, and so it was a tough matchup. I think he's been a great pitcher in the game for a long time. So when you are going up against somebody who's had elite stuff, numbers don't always look pretty, but that's part of the game. Just continue to make adjustments and figure out how you're going to have an at bat to help the team.
Andy?
Craig talked yesterday about how you guys played the Mets, who had their backs against the wall last week, and how it kind of helped you for situations like this. Like, how does that help you today, where they're playing for their lives?
Yeah, I think we against the Reds and the Mets, and I think that you get that experience in September, playing against teams that are in it, that are playoff caliber teams, and are kind of doing everything they can. In that Mets series, Diaz is going 2 innings, stuff like that, to try to get them into the postseason. So it prepares you for this. I think we're fully aware. The Padres have a good bullpen and they're going to use it. And so you put your best at bats out there. I think we did a really good job yesterday of being able to push one against their bullpen. But we had opportunities there too. We had opportunities in a couple of different innings to be able to push a run across, and I think it just speaks to the length of the lineup, but also kind of the discipline and the ability to score runs in a variety of ways. You got 2 homers yesterday, and then kind of producing through bunt, pass ball, Nico putting that ball in play and giving us a chance. We can do those things to produce, and that's what makes this lineup special.
Scott?
Ian, what you just addressed, how much of a difference does it make? I mean, you guys have the home run hitters, but as Craig was saying yesterday, you guys have a bunch of different guys who can do a bunch of different things to help you win a game, which has got to be huge at this time of year.
Yeah, and it's something we've done all year. It hasn't shown up every day or every month. But I definitely think early, and especially in the first half, there's a lot of talk about the guys that hit homers, and we did have 3 guys hit 30, and that helps in run production. But the ability for guys to bunt, to steal bases, to move the baseball, Nico's one of the best examples of that in the game. And so when you have that combination of guys that are able to do the little things to produce, against elite pitching, against elite bullpens, it gives you a chance.
Patrick, back left.
Hey, Ian, since you debuted and first experienced the postseason, can you explain how the game has evolved, the industry has evolved, and the Cubs have evolved to where you guys are using an opener today and it's kind of understood?
Yeah, I think, the game's definitely evolved a ton. Just with the amount of hard-throwing guys, the amount of reliance on the bullpen. I think there was still in the playoffs a desire to get to those guys, but at the same time, in those early teams, you kind of had more playoff experience out of the starting staff. I think that was at that point, you had a starting staff that had just won the World Series and pitched in the 15 postseason as well altogether. So, those guys were completely and totally experienced in that situation. I think we have a group right now where the bullpen is it's unbelievable. And Shota's been great for us for the last 2 years, and just given him a chance to get through those first 3 hitters, get through those first 3 hitters, and then Shota, a chance to address the rest of the lineup. I think it's worked for us at different points during the season, and it's become a much more accepted practice because you're trying to get those matchups right.
Jay.
Team defense has obviously been a part of your guys' identity all year long. Does it become more important this time of year, and how much did you see that show up yesterday?
It's been that's the one thing that shows up every day. It's pretty special to watch. Watch Dansby make those plays. Matty Shaw, some great ones, and just the outfield run around, catching all those balls. I think Pete makes those plays look pretty easy, but some of the spots he was playing in to go run down some of those baseballs standing up, it's pretty special. Dealing with the sun out there as well. So I think that's one thing that's been so impressive the whole year is just the quality of defense, the consistency of the defense, and the confidence it gives our pitchers to go out there and just throw strikes and pound the zone and know that we got them.
Anything else for Ian?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ian.